On this week's episode of Aging Well Together, Dr. Adrienne Young, a dietitian from Australia, joins us to talk about eating well so you can age well.
You know, losing appetite as we get older is a normal part of aging. Just our hunger signals and hormones and things change, and so it doesn't trigger that appetite signal as strongly as it does when we're younger. And I think as we're less active as well, we've got less of that drive for hunger. But actually we know that you know, we still need to be having that good food intake. And so I think there's a few things to do. I think the first thing is to recognise when your appetite's is declining, and then I think we need to start, you know, thinking a little bit about as food as medicine, and really starting to think about, you know, we have a schedule with our medication, and even just starting to think a little bit about your meals in that way, which probably isn't going to add the joy into it, but I think just making sure you're keeping that routine there, and maybe instead of trying to have 3 big meals in the day, maybe it's scheduling 5 or 6 smaller meals in the day, and making sure you've got some good proteins, some good fats, some good carbohydrates at each of those little 5 or 6 mini meals can be a really good way of doing that. Something we use in hospitals a lot is we talk about sort of increasing the protein and nutrient density of the food. So you might have a smaller amount of food, but we need to pack in as much energy and protein as we can into those smaller amounts. So I suppose I might take something like mashed potato as an example. You might be able to serve yourself a smaller portion if you add in some extra butter. You might be able to add in a little bit of cream, or some even some skim milk powder is a really cheap but effective protein supplement that you could be adding into those sorts of things. So that way you've almost got this boosted mashed potato. So then it doesn't matter if you eat a little bit less, because every mouthful you've eaten has more nutrition.
So if you don't have the appetite to take in a big volume, you can still try and pack as much nutrients as you can into that smaller amount.